The Cambridge Impronauts presents the Weird Ass Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Weird Ass Podcast.
That's right. Fantastic. It's so good to have you back here. Presumably, we don't really know with podcasts. But Alex, how the devil have you done since our last one?
You know, I had a lot to think about after solving our last mystery. A lot on my mind, but I am so excited to be back in the studio with a brand new mystery to solve.
Well, that's right. We were so lucky. We had a contact, didn't we? We got a phone call from, he only left his name as Spooky John, but telling us about a mysterious spoon.
Yeah, now, Spooky John's call was a little bit odd. I'm sure you'll agree. We normally get some pretty weird communications from our listeners, but Spooky John's was particularly strange since he insisted on doing the whole thing in rhyme. But basically what we managed to pick up on, like you said, was that there was some mystery going on with a spoon. So should we play the phone call for our listeners?
Yeah. Let's just I'll play that now. We'll have a little listen. Take us right back to the start of this journey.
Hi, this is Spooky John, the only one. I have a problem that's over the moon. It's about this weird metal spoon. I had a spoon at the start of the day, but by the end of it, it had gone away. I don't know where my spoon could have gone. All I saw was it running off with a talking scone.
Now, I just got chills again just hearing that. Was it?
I know. Yeah, it's not what you expect to hear on a Thursday afternoon, is it?
Well, you know, when you run a podcast exclusively looking for people's weird asks, finding out what had happened to a spoon and a scone.
You could quite literally say the spoon has absconded, but you shouldn't, because that's a low joke. That's a low joke. So yeah, Damian, where did we get started investigating this mystery? Because I know you took the lead on this one.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we didn't have very much to go on. At first, we didn't. He didn't leave a number. We just. I knew that my ex-girlfriend knew an awful lot about cutlery. That was one of the many, many reasons that we broke up, actually. And I got in touch with her to see what she could tell us about spoons and whether she'd ever heard of this kind of thing going on before. We've got a recording of that. Do you mind if I get that going?
Let's play that interview now. Great.
Okay. Hi.
Damian,
Yes,
you
Barbara?
only contact me when you want something, so what is it this time?
It's I'm sorry to bring the subject up again, Barbara, but it's about cutlery. Somebody got in touch with us. You know, I'm doing this podcast now, and
With
I had
Alex.
a weird story about a spoon that had apparently come to life and run away or absconded. I made that one up. And it disappeared with a scone. Thus, you had to know that bit before absconded was fine. This is why I never did jokes with you. I'm sorry.
You look like hell, by the way.
You look lovely.
She's obviously not taking good care of you at all.
Can we just... I don't want to talk about her. Can we just talk about the spoon? I know you know about cutlery.
Yeah.
Always on at me about the washing up. Clockwise, Damian. Clockwise, Damian. Don't do it anti-clockwise. This isn't fucking Australia. Tell me about spoons. How can a spoon... Barbara, how can a spoon up and go?
If you'd ever listened to a single word I told you about cutlery before, Damian, you would already know. The spoon is the most capricious of the denizens of the cutlery drawer. The spoon has a wild spirit, a free soul, a need to roam. Not like a domesticated fork or the conformist knife. The spoon is born to be free.
Just like you.
Perhaps.
Barbara, where would a spoon go? I need to track this down. We need to look into this. It's so peculiar. Where would a spoon go?
I've heard tell of a land where a spoon might find meaning. A land full of nostalgia and...
Yeah, I mean, oh dear. Look, when we were dating, I'd put up with this sort of thing. Where?
Oh, you put up with it, did you, Damian?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to know the land where a spoon might go when it grows its legs and makes its break for freedom, then you can't ask me. You're gonna have to talk to Ethan. Ethan Allen.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. Yes, I was seeing him when we were together, but you'll have to forgive him.
It's not him I blame. How could he resist your charms? But
You mean how could he put up with me, Damian?
sometimes it felt like that. I'm very conflicted. Ethan Allen.
Ethan Allen, he knows of the spoons.
No
He
wonder.
knows of their ways, their wiles.
Yes. I'll speak with him now.
Goodbye. Forever.
Thank you.
Pretty emotional interview for you there, Damian. I'm sorry that it got so personal for you.
That's, when you date a woman like Barbara, she knows as much about cutlery as any woman, and while that is what I typically look for in a woman, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But it is apparently enough for Ethan Allen.
Yes, so Ethan Allen's name popped up pretty early on in our investigation, and
Yeah.
since we thought it might be a little bit awkward to send you to talk to him, with the whole history, I actually managed to get him on a Zoom call to try and find out what had happened to Spooky John's spoon. So with your permission, Damian, I'd like to just roll that clip.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's find out how you managed to learn things.
Mr. Allen? Mr. Allen, are you there?
One moment. Sorry, my Zoom's broken. Give me a moment.
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Allen. Thank you so much for agreeing to, well, not see me today, maybe hear me at least.
So what can I do you for?
Well, Mr. Allen, we've heard from Barbara that you are a bit of an expert when it comes to cutlery, specifically spoons.
Ah, yes. You can't see it, but I've got some of my spoony friends here, actually, yes. We were just having our annual spoon meeting.
Oh, so you are in close contact with the spoon community.
Ah, yes. There we go. Hello. Yes. Yes, so our spoon, yes, we've just been having our spoon union, our meeting where we're talking about pay for spoons, because you see the spoons don't get paid nearly anything for their services to us, and so we're trying to work together. Well, I'm more of a mediator, but they're trying to work together to try and get better pay, you see.
I see. So is this wage issue then quite important to the spoons in general? Could this be a motivation, say, for a spoon to abscond with a scone?
A scone, you say? Well, it's a little abnormal for a spoon to want to run off with a scone. They're mortal enemies, but yes, I suppose if you weren't paying your spoons, they're entitled to leave, you know, under union rules. Spoonian rules, they're allowed to bugger off if you don't pay them enough, certainly.
Sorry, so you mentioned that the scone is the mortal enemy of the spoon?
Oh yes, spoons and scones don't get along, you see, because they sound a bit similar, but they're not. And then second of all, scones like to have the cream and jam on in a certain order, whereas spoons are a bit more libertarian. They do their own thing, and scones don't like the lack of order.
I see. Now, we had heard earlier from Barbara that spoons tend to be wild spirits, a bit free. So you're saying that their libertarian attitude is what prevents them from getting along peacefully with the scones?
Quite, and they're quite complex characters, the spoons. They're libertarian, but also believe in unions. They're very interesting politically. That's why I like to hang out with them. They have much better conversations with these than, no offense, other humans.
Even Barbara?
Well, but Barbara's also a free spirit. That's why I'm dating her at the moment. I just love how she just, you know, lives life to the max and washes up clockwise, which, as we all know, is the correct way to do it.
Of course it is. Now, one more thing just before you go, Mr. Allen.
Sure.
I heard that there was a place that spoons went to where they could be free and libertarian to their heart's content. Have you heard of this magical spoon place?
Oh, I don't know if I should be telling you that. You know what? I don't want to have this conversation anymore. How do I turn this Skype off?
Look, Mr. Allen, please.
Spoons, I can't tell her to go to Winchester and get the spoons. It'll be devastating.
We appear to have lost Mr. Allen's audio.
I don't know why she...
Damian, you've got to pull it together for the sake of the podcast. I know this is emotional for you.
So welcome back to Me and Ask a Podcast. And we can tell you more about where the spoons have gone. And I didn't know it would affect me so much.
It's okay, Damian, but the truth is more important than Barbara and Ethan Allen or whoever. We need to find out the truth.
The truth. Alex, thank you. That makes me feel better. That is why we're doing this. And just forgot how angry I was going to get. Alex, we'd got a clue.
We did. We got several big leads, but I think the most important one is Winchester that he mentioned at the end. What is happening with the spoons in Winchester?
Well, famously, of course, Winchester has a cathedral.
It does. A chapel, some might say.
There it does contain a chapel. And hearing that back, you know, we thought to ourselves, where would spoons go in Winchester, apart, of course, from a chapel where we know they keep other sort of shiny objects, and maybe this would attract the spoons. That was our next lead. We didn't have a lot to go on, but of course you've got your beautiful light coming through the windows, the stained glass windows there at Winchester, and the sort of golden goblets and crucifixes and the things for the candles that don't have candles in these days, you know. And we thought, this is probably, if I were a spoon,
you would head to where the other shiny cutlery-like objects were, exactly. And that's why I believe that you went to Winchester to try and follow up on this lead.
I absolutely did. I went to Winchester, and when I was there, I met up with, ironically, a divorce counsellor.
Okay.
my divorce counsellor, who lives in Winchester, and I thought that that she might be able to give us some clues about the spoons.
Okay.
Let's have a watch.
Ah, Damian.
Hi,
My-
Jane.
Yes. Well, welcome back to my offices. I see you're here without Barbara.
Well, you solved that little problem, didn't you?
Yes, sometimes, despite being united under God, the only real answer is yes to not till death do us part, no, but to
Divorce.
yes.
And much happier we've both been for it. I think, I don't have to put up with her long, rambling stories. She doesn't have to put up with my anti-clockwise or Withershins spoon washing.
Well, that is rather unbiblical.
Yes, of course. Listen, you know an awful lot about Winchester.
I do.
And you know an awful lot about relationships. And there's a strange relationship. Somebody got in touch with us and wanted to know about a spoon and a scone that had formed some sort of unusual bond. And you know why couples who are once together can split apart, but what could bring enemies like a spoon and a scone together? And could they have come here, do you think?
Well, in my many years as a vicar and counsellor of sorts, the one thing that I have seen unite people who were once enemies. Sorry, Damian, are you reading while I'm talking?
No, I'm going to make a note.
You're making notes, I see.
Making notes on your wisdom.
I do remember Barbara saying that one of the issues in your relationship was that you could not concentrate on what other people were saying to you.
Sorry.
Well,
What?
one thing that above all I have seen effective in uniting enemies is the presence of a greater threat, a threat to both of them. My enemy's enemy is my friend, so to speak, but if your enemy's enemy is also your enemy, perhaps the original enemy may now become your friend or at least your ally.
I'm sorry, what?
If these two enemies have something that is threatening the both of them, they may form an alliance.
Oh. Well, Jane, that's a very fascinating idea. That's very good. Now
Why come to me with this, Damian?
Because you know about this. I knew you would know the answer. It's about the relationship and an outside force, a threat, something integral to the being of a scone and a spoon, something coming to destroy them.
I'm sorry, did you say a scone and a spoon?
A scone and a spoon.
Well,
sorry, I forgot you're clergy.
I see you did have an ulterior motive in coming here after all. Not just to seek my wisdom on relationships, but also my knowledge of the spoons.
Do you have... I mean, are you Gnostic?
Well, as you know, I attend the chancellery and the treasures of the cathedral therein.
Yes.
Well, you may or may not know that our treasures include several 100,000 walking spoons.
well. Now,
That was well worth the £47.52 for a standard day return to Winchester, I can tell you.
it certainly was, Damian. We got a lot of information there, mostly about your relationship with Barbara, again, which is something I definitely think you need to work through in your own time.
It's fine, I'm mostly over it, I really am. It's fine. Stupid, anyway.
Sure. But the two interesting things that I think we got out of your clergy divorce counsellor were, firstly, the possibility of some greater threat to the spoon and scone that has caused this alliance. That's definitely an interesting lead, but 100,000 walking spoons?
I was surprised by that as well. That wasn't, I mean, I'm not a great student of theology, but really that took me by surprise. That seemed quite different from what I remembered at primary school when we learnt about religion. We didn't talk about the walking spoons at all there, it has to be said. You anything about the church spoons?
I mean, so something that I thought of after seeing your interview there was I really wanted to delve into the spoon community. I mean, we've been hearing about their beliefs, their friends, their enemies.
They've got a union.
The Spoonian, exactly. I wanted to really get to the bottom of that. So what I did, I put out a newspaper advertisement asking for any walking, talking spoons to get in touch. And I got one response. I got one response from a spoon which claims to be a professional TikTok star.
Yep.
So what I did, I set up a meeting, and just for our slightly older viewers at home, a TikTok star is someone who dances, lip syncs to popular music, very popular with the teens. So this is a spoon with a lot of celebrity status, right?
Quite famous, quite a lot of energy.
Lots of energy, very famous, down with the kids. So I set up a meeting with this famous spoon TikTok.
Arrogant, one might say. Watching it back.
A little bit arrogant, but we'll take what we can get in this investigation. So I'll roll that clip.
Absolutely. I'm glad we did this interview.
Yes.
Hi, are you the professional TikTok spoon?
Do you not recognize me from my Instagram and TikTok?
I'm afraid I'm not really tuned in with the TikTok spoon community. Can you talk a little bit about yourself and your work?
Well, I take videos of myself doing lots of spoon things. Reviewing the latest spoon films and the latest spoon cafes. They call me an in-spoon-cer. It's like influencer, but with spoon put in. It's a word I invented. I'm pretty sure the Oxford Dictionary are going to have it soon. Yes, and I basically, if I say jump, all the spoons in the Spoonian will say how high, and then I tell them how high, and then they do it.
So you have a lot of sway, a lot of influence in the talking and walking spoon community.
Spoonfluence, yes, I do. I'm no one is more in tune with the spoons than me.
Well, then, can I ask, have you heard any rumours, any whisperings about one of the spoons, running away with a scone?
Yes, I've covered this in my sing-along to the famous song "The Spoon and the Scone Have Gone and Done It." Yes, the new song, you've probably heard of it. It's in the charts. I actually know the singer personally, Eugene Spoonen. But yes, I'm aware of them all, and yes, it's the two people you might be looking for is Graham the Spoon, who I believe is this person you're looking for, who's run away, and they're the scone that they've run away with is called Poppy Honey. Poppy Honey, as referenced in the lyrics, but you're clearly out of tune because you've never heard of me, so you need me to spell it out for you, I see.
Well, this is some mind-blowing information you're giving me here. So if Eugene Spoonen has written a song about their departure, then surely, how did he find out about this? Is it very well known? What's the Spoon community's reaction?
Well, as someone who's very in touch with the Spoon community, I can tell you that it is all the buzz. Hashtag Spoon and Scone is all over Twitter version, the Spoon version of Twitter. It's just called Twitter, but it's spelt in little spoons. Yeah, it's all over there. Hashtag Spoon and Scone. It's the only thing anyone can talk about, because you see there's a big threat coming, and this is the first step in Spoons and Scones working together against the greater power.
Sorry, what is this greater power? What's the big threat that's coming?
Well, I probably shouldn't be telling you, but I feel really important. I feel like my exposure on this show will really get your viewership up, so I'm doing you a favor. Yes, what you should be looking for is, do you know what? I've completely forgotten your question while thinking about myself. Could you repeat the question?
Yes, of course. What is the threat that's coming that threatens both Spoons and Scones alike?
Ah, yes. You might have heard of them. The big villain, if you will, of the Spoon and spoon and thing. It's the fork. Specifically, forks that are used for cakes. But they're causing all sorts of a ruckus all around the kitchen. Spoons and Scones don't want to be in kitchens anymore because of these cake forks. Yes, and I believe that is the reason why we are teaming up in a big army to fight the forks so soon.
So, are you telling me that the Scone and Spoon alliance isn't just a small-time thing? This is huge. All of the Spoons and Scones are teaming up.
Let me tell you this, podcaster, which, by the way, is not quite as good as a spoonfluencer. There is a war coming. A war from the Spoons and the Scones with the cake forks, led by Spooky John. He wants the spoon to come back so that he can take it as a prisoner of war. A spoon of war. I'm not very good at puns, but that's the truth.
Spooky John, the owner of Graham, the original runaway spoon, is in charge of the cake fork army.
You didn't hear that from me, except you did. And yeah, if anybody wants to join me, I'm on Spoonfluencer, at Spoonfluencer420 on all channels like TikTok and Instagram. So come send me a like, and I'll send you a free spoon-shaped brooch in the post.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been incredible. And of course, we will all be following you on all social media.
Please do. Thank you.
She used to use them to eat yogurt.
Okay,
cottage cheese.
Damian, I know you're upset about Barbara. I know, but there is a war. Can we focus on that?
Okay.
Okay, so what we have learned is that there is an army of Spoons and Scones gathering against the cake forks, which is a whole situation in itself. But more to the point, our original caller, Spooky John, appears to have some kind of nefarious reason for wanting to get this spoon back.
I realized something. I'd made a terrible mistake. This was where I went back and checked my records. We'd had that phone call from Spooky John, and I realized I'd misread the caller name. It wasn't Spooky John. It was Sporky John.
Sporky John.
And what's a spork? It's a kind of cake fork.
Oh my goodness.
The natural enemy.
Face wide open.
Absolutely. A spork, of course. It's a cake fork, a spork. The natural enemies of both a spoon, because if you've got one of those, you don't need a spoon. And if I were a scone, I would not want to be split open by a spork.
Nobody would. So now at this point in our investigation, things were getting pretty serious. You know, we're talking all out cutlery warfare here.
Absolutely.
I believe you took one of our main leads and went to have an interview. Who was it that you went to see?
Well, it was pretty difficult to track down this singer Eugene Spoonen, but I'd followed that hashtag Spoon and Scone. Did a bit of looking around, read through some of the old tweets by Spoonfluencer420, and was able to find Eugene Spoonen on LinkedIn.
Wow, you stooped to LinkedIn?
I know I had to sign up, I had to create an account, I had to.
You know you'll be getting emails from there for weeks.
Oh, it's not yet. Yes, exactly. No, I don't want to come and work on your podcast. I have my own podcast. Thank you very much. Anyway, dropped him a line.
Okay.
And asked him, can we get together? Can we meet? Very secretive for a celebrity. We had to go and meet in a little sort of hipster cafe called Mordor.
Oh.
And we went in there, met up, had to wear disguises, of course. Didn't want to be recognised. And I was just hoping that Eugene would be able to tell us something about Sporky John. Are you Eugene?
I'm affiliated with Eugene.
All right. I'm affiliated with a podcast.
All right.
Thanks for agreeing to meet with me, Eugene.
I'm not Eugene. I'm affiliated with Eugene only.
Sorry. Thanks for meeting with me, Eugene's affiliate. I'm really hoping that you can tell me. It's a nice beard, by the way. I'm hoping that you can tell me something about this Sporky John. I figured it out.
Sporky John?
Sporky John.
Well, I've heard of him.
Yeah?
I've heard he's a right bastard.
Well, I thought he might be. I mean, it ended up well for your affiliate with his song about this, but what have you heard? Where can I find Sporky John?
If he don't want to be found, you ain't gonna find him.
That's irritating.
But you might be able to lure him out.
Bait, you mean?
Right, exactly.
What does he what's he into then, this Sporky John?
Well, you know what's the most delectable snack that you could eat with a spork? It's practically designed for it.
Pringles?
No, you idiot. Cheesecake, innit?
You're right. Creamy, crumbly. Little juicy coulis on top that you can eat with the spoony part.
All right. Calm down about cheesecake. It's disgusting. But John, now I tell you what, if you put it about that there was some kind of cheesecake festival,
yeah,
I can guarantee you Sporky John would be there.
Is it going to offend the rest of the spoon community?
You can eat cheesecake with a spoon, but it's not the best implement. Us spoons, them spoons,
yeah.
We're not attached to cheesecake like. We're not attached to it, they're not attached to it.
More yogurt and cottage cheese and the like, isn't it, for you?
Ice cream. Yogurt, cereal, crumble,
yeah,
cheesecake.
Not so much.
No, it's all right, but it's not Not ideal. Not like a spork and cheesecake.
Right.
But I'll tell you what's not ideal for a spork. Anything else. And if they're trying to muscle in on our territory,
Yeah.
if anyone's trying to use a spork to eat a bowl of crumble and custard,
Oh,
I'll tell you what,
go on.
they're in for it.
I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for the tip. If you see an advert for a cheesecake factory, a cheesecake festival, don't just stay away.
I wouldn't dream of it, sunshine.
All right. Thank
You're
you.
paying for my coffee.
Oh, yeah. All right. hang
Nice
on.
to meet you.
They do
Never contact me again.
No, okay. I'd forgotten about ice cream and apple crumble and stuff. She used to eat those with a...
Amy, why do you pay that divorce counsellor? You're a wreck.
custard on.
Pull it together, mate.
We just couldn't work it out. Maybe we could have done.
Well, maybe when all of this is over, your newfound appreciation for spoons might help you patch things up with Barbara.
Do you think Jane would be angry? The divorce counsellor?
Well, I mean,
Haven't they got magic powers, the vicars, you know?
I'm not entirely sure that's how it works, but if you got back together and then divorced again, then she'd get paid by you twice, so brilliant, great for her.
Right like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress, or spoongress, or no, it doesn't really work. He did it much better, didn't he? Anyway, turns out if you go to specialityprintsrus.com, you can get 255,000 flyers printed up A5 double-sided glossy for only £47.50. So I got out Word and did some word art and made an amazing poster claiming there was going to be a cheesecake festival in the middle of town one Tuesday morning.
You did, and we came up with a particularly sneaky plan between the two of us. We didn't think that Sporky John would want to meet with us on the podcast because we would have to reveal that we'd blown his cover. We knew why he was looking for Grey and the Spoon and Poppy Honey the Scone. So
Right.
what you had me do, Damian, do you remember? You had me adopt the persona of Marie Antoinette, who,
Yeah.
as we all know, loves cake, to
Yeah.
sit down and talk to Sporky John, pretending that we were doing some kind of cake fork-related interview.
That's right. I think we should see that video now, because each one of these, it brings us a little bit closer to the final truth. The listeners are when this resolves, they're just going to have their minds blown. At this point, we still weren't sure we were going to find an answer, but you worked magic. I'll tell you what. Let's play that tape now.
Yeah, let's do it. Hello there, Sporky John, is it?
Oh my goodness, and bless my jets, it's Marie Antoinette.
It is indeed. So, Mr. John, tell me, what is it like being a cake fork?
As much as your face is lovely and pasty, the thing I love about cake is it's just damn tasty.
Ah, I see. So you actually consume the cake despite being a fork.
You don't have to look, if you get my drift, south to find out where I keep my secret mouth.
Riveting. So, Sporky John, now this is a wonderful cheesecake festival. Wouldn't you agree? It's really quite exciting, but I can't help but notice a distinct lack of spoons.
How dare you talk about spoons in my presence? To them, they're all just dirty peasants. They deserve to die, and even more. Look, I've got a dirty scon as a prisoner of war.
Mr. John, this is some very aggressive behavior you're exhibiting at our wholesome cheesecake festival. Why are you so angry with the spoons and the scones, apparently?
You see, the thing that I really take umbrage is with the fact that sporks are actually rubbish. Garbage.
I appreciate your rhyme at the end there, but you say that sporks are garbage? Are you not one yourself?
It's a well-known truth that spoons are just better, and it's really made all of us sporks bitter.
I see. So there's a lot of jealousy in the cutlery community, and the scone that you're keeping hostage, is that a random scone or a scone that is known to you?
The scone was trying to murder me, but I managed to catch him. He's no longer free. He's in my control, and that's where he'll stay until we've won this war with the people who call themselves the Spunion. But I just leaves me fuming about how they are disgusting and stealing our jobs. If it was up to me, I'd give them the clobbs, like clobbering.
This is truly groundbreaking stuff. So you say that the scone in your, in captivity tried to kill you?
The feud has been going on for many a year. This is just the first event that's breaking in tears. I've started to run out of rhymes to say, but if you're a spork or scone, you better start to pray.
Sporky John, I am actually a member of the Weird Ask podcast. You sent in a request trying to get us to track down a scone and a spoon that had absconded from your home. Were you trying to persecute them in some way?
Oh my goodness, it's too late. I knew when I saw no bloody cheesecakes. What are you going to do? Arrest me for killing? They would have done the same to me for less than a shilling.
Mr. John, I feel like we need to contact the authorities. You have admitted to taking a scone hostage. You have admitted to threatening violence on spoons and scones alike, and now you talk about an all-out war? Where will it end?
It will end when all of the sporks have killed all of the scones and the spoons and the forks and the knives and all the useful cutlery, and then we'll live in spork harmony.
One final question before I leave. What is the identity of the scone that you have prisoner?
I guess before now, the scone had a name. It's Gary Barlow. But he is very lame. I'm going to kill him right on camera. Before you can do anything. Can't find a word to rhyme with camera.
Of course, an apology to all of our viewers who did find that scene distressing. We had no idea that Sporky John was quite so aggressive.
Quite shaking, quite disturbing.
Indeed. And in fact, Sporky John was taken into police custody by the bouncers that we had at the Cheesecake Festival. So luckily, we did prevent him from committing any further violence on Gary Barlow the scone. And of course, Gary Barlow was unable to comment or to be interviewed because he was in a very distressed state. But one thing I did gather after talking to him while he was admitted to hospital was that he's actually the uncle of Poppy Honey, the original missing scone.
Surprising link. Maybe not that surprising, given that they all revolve around this central, terrifying spork, who is now in custody.
Yes.
And one might say we'd wrapped it up at that point. The part of the mystery, anyway, had been solved. We knew why the spoon had run away. It was because he and the Poppy Honey, the scone, had been threatened by this terrifying spork. It didn't feel like a satisfying resolution, though, because we still knew that there was this army, as it had been described, of spoons hunkering down in Winchester, and I was quite worried that they were going to actually amass an attack on the country and leave us bereft of spoon and spork alike, unable to eat any tasty snacks.
Yeah, this was something that worried us very, very deeply, because it seemed like the animosity was so much bigger than just Sporky John and his personal vendetta. And another thing that I felt it didn't quite sit right, that we left it unsolved. We hadn't managed to track down Graham the Spoon or Poppy Honey.
Right. This is why I reached into my pockets, and thank you, by the way, everybody who does do our Patreon and subscribes to the podcast. That does help us fund these adventures. They don't come cheaply. I found another £47.52 and headed down back to Winchester to see Jane, my divorce counsellor, one more time, to see whether we could mollify the Spoon Army.
Indeed. And let's see how that went for you.
You'll be pleased. Jane, tell me please that the spoons are settled. Are they comfortable? Are they happy? Are they cuddling with each other? Are they spooning?
Yes, well, Damian, it would be nice if you had cared as much for your marriage as you do for this little podcast of yours. You seem to be visiting me more to inquire about spoons than you did to inquire about how to heal the holy bond of matrimony with dear Barbara, whom I've also heard from, in fact, recently. Yes, she was.
How is she?
Well, she was having some trouble with Ethan.
Really?
Yes. I managed to prescribe them some exercises that would seem to have worked for now.
Oh.
Yes, these spoons you're asking about. Well, you know, it has been for many years that the spoons have been coming to Winchester. They've always been a capricious item of cutlery. They've been known by those in the know, by those who care to pay attention to their cutleries, by those who care to wash them correctly in the correct direction.
Mm-hmm.
The spoon has long been known to engage in flights of fancy.
I remember reading recently that they've even been found in the marginalia of ancient copies of the Bible. Slugs and spoons and rabbits.
A spoon is a biblical item of cutlery. Yes, indeed. Yes. One can eat from, of course, a wooden spoon carved by a carpenter like our Lord and Saviour himself.
I see.
Now, the spoons in the cathedral, yes, there was a hubbub, there was a murmuring, there was
A
There
rattle?
was conspiratorial whispering amongst the spoons. However, it seems, perhaps, that they're now at peace. Spoons, my children, someone is here to inquire after your well-being.
You're right.
Yes, we're feeling much more peaceful now. We've decided to go back to our calm and pensive ways at the chapel with much thanks to Jane and everyone at the church.
Oh, that's a tremendous relief. And tell me though, lovely spoons, worshipful spoons, if I may, have you seen, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this word in a chapel, but have you seen a scone called Poppy Honey?
Yes, she is safe with us. We have learned to put aside our differences,
Oh,
spoons and scones, without the need for war. They're resting in the back. We can't show you them right now.
no, that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't want to intrude in spood. The other guy did it much better.
Okay. But yes, we're doing fine. We'll leave you to the rest of your therapy.
Bye,
Bye.
spoons. Bye, spoons. Oh, weren't
Yeah.
they lovely?
The spoons are kind enough to pay for their lodging in our chancellery with providing for the after-service tea.
Ah, I always wondered how that worked. Yes, they don't mind having their heads dipped in the hot liquid then.
Ah, yes, they stir the tea to drink, yes, and they bring us the refreshments, the edible items.
All the many delicious things. I don't want to think about the things you can eat with spoons right now. Thank you.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but would you like a scone?
Is it a non-sentient scone?
It is now. It's got jam and cream on it.
I'd love one of those. Thank you, Jane. That brings back memories.
Yes. Well,
Are you going to give me the? Where do I get the scone? Right. Good. Thank you. Oh.
Damian, I wish you good luck in your future endeavors. The podcast is obviously
Thank you very much.
receiving a lot more love and attention than Barbara ever did. And I hope that's what you wanted.
Thank you.
Hopefully I don't have to see you again.
I hope not. Bye.
Another tough interview for you there, Damian. We really need to start investigating some mysteries where you don't have to interview your ex's new lover, and your divorce counselor. I mean,
it wasn't ideal, was it?
No.
From that point of view, but we did what we had to do. We did what we had to do, Alex, and we found it all out. We'd resolved the spoon. We'd even found out that happy little scone, not the one I ate, of course, so, was now living in Winchester Cathedral, in the chapel with all of the spoons. I imagine it's a bit like the Smurfs, all living together happily.
Yes. I was very pleased to hear that. It's great that the spoons and the scones have managed to put all of their differences aside and unite permanently, hopefully. And I did hear whisperings that Graham the Spoon and Poppy Honey are still together.
Oh, that's so cute.
Might have wedding bells on our hands.
Oh, lovely. A bit of romance. Isn't that nice? Well, thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you.
This was a really fantastic weird ask for us to answer. And tune in next time with more great questions. Let us know what you want us to find out about, and we will dig into it as best we can. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Damian.
And thanks to our guests.
The Weird Ass Podcast.
Weird Ass Podcast.